Good morning, or good afternoon by the time this gets posted. I'm out here doing some work, cleaning out the existing chicken coop that they're still living in. And I thought maybe I'd take a minute to kind of explain some of the design choices that we made, why we made them, the differences between the old coop and the new coop, some of the mistakes that we made. And maybe I can kind of get into what we do here, or what we try to do, and why. So, for starters, this existing coop is 4 feet by 3 feet, I believe. And I had bought this off some old boy. He was selling it as a mineral tray or feed tray for sheep and goats. So it didn't have any siding. It was the uprights, the crossbar, the roof, that was all pre-existing. So I framed in the rest of it so that we could support the roof better, because it didn't have any support. It was literally just hanging down here. So we framed it in and threw some siding on it and painted it. And I think when we originally started using this, we had 4 chickens. And honestly, even with 6, there's plenty of room in here. There's a few things that I would like to change if we were going to keep it, but it is a little bit small, and the way that this is designed with no external nesting box, they end up scratching around in the straw in here, and this is where they lay their eggs. And so there's always chicken poop on the eggs, even though, as you can see, they do clearly live and sleep on the roosting bars. So of course we got the chicken AC up there. This was the first iteration of the trapdoor idea that I did in the new coop, and you can see I got a bucket under here because I'm cleaning the coop out today. But the whole idea, where's my stick? Chicken poop stick, very important to have. Gets into corners nicely. So the idea was basically that we just do this and we scrape everything into the hole, and it works. It does work. But we switched from wood shavings to straw to better control the moisture, especially in the wintertime. And it works a lot better with 3 holes with the wood shavings compared to the straw, because as you can imagine, well, of course that's going to go and make a liar out of me, but here, that's not going to go through there unless you pick it up and drop it down. So what we figured was that when we rebuilt the coop, hey look, they've been using it. Okay, now it's all gone. And now I could just, oh, hold on, where's my poop stick? See, so now we can just bring this back. Gone. Problem solved. So that's one thing. That's just a small design thing. But so number one, larger coop, because we have more birds now, and we're probably going to be getting additional birds. And not that this is terribly hard to get into or anything, but there's some spots that we can't really seal up well, and when we do seal them up, usually we have to come back and open them back up to get additional airflow so that we don't have mold issues. And so that whole thing was just problematic. So larger coop, additional space for venting, additional airspace, which again, there's going to be fans here and here, and an additional door. Another thing was the egg box. So like I mentioned in the existing coop, the egg box, or where they lay right now, is the same place that they poop, because everything is covered in straw in there and there's no external boxes. So we figured what we do here is we'll move this to external egg boxes, you know, as I had discussed in the plan. And then when we move them into this, there's going to be just minimal straw covering the laminate, and then most of the straw will be back in the egg boxes. So hopefully that'll encourage them to only lay in the egg boxes. I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll see. But we're doing that. I am going to upgrade this to, I'm actually going to put a door on here. I'm going to go with a chicken guard. We got plenty of room to install it. I just need to get some money and get it ordered. And then the single door on this side, this works perfectly well, as large as I made it for the size of this coop. And that was what I had planned for here. But we quickly realized that if this is a single door and you pop in, you're going to have a hard time getting to that back corner over there. And you might even have a hard time over here. So that's where the idea for the additional door here came from. And then also this is now going to be, I don't know if I mentioned it before, this is going to turn into a double door. And then our chicken access door is going to be right over there. Basically the same location as the existing coop. But yeah, airflow is important with chickens. You can see that we had some moisture getting stuck right there. This coop has been in service for 2 years, I believe, at this point. We had it on another part of the property, and then it was really swampy over there, so we moved it here, and it's much better drained overall. But this is just 3/4 inch plywood that has the same barn paint that I put on everything. And it's held up pretty well. I mean, it does probably have 2 or maybe 3 coats of that stuff on the bottom and on the inside of all this stuff, you know, to keep the poop from sinking in. But other than that, it's held up really well, even in the areas where we continue to get moisture. So I knew that I could have just put regular plywood down when we did the new coop. The reason that I decided to go with the laminate floor in this one was pretty simple. It was free. We had 2 boxes of this laminate laying around from a little renovation we had done. And we were probably never going to use it again, so this didn't cost us anything. Actually, I think I've got about $200 worth of wood in this coop right now. You know, a box of screws. It's not too bad, but we do try and reuse as much stuff as we can without looking like the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, I figured I'd kind of discuss some of the reasons that we decided to change the coop and what we were trying to go for, which really boils down to a little bit more space, a little bit more weather control, and hopefully separating the eggs out and not being able to see through the coop. But anyway. Okay, so I'm loading the coop with fresh straw right now. And I did mention it earlier, but I had said that we used to use wood shavings, and we moved to straw for better moisture control. Something that we found out is that straw actually will not absorb water. So when the chickens come in the wintertime, or mud season, and they're covered in mud and water and whatever, the wood shavings that we had in here absorb it, and it turns into a giant pile of mud and wood shavings and chicken poop. But with this, you'll get water droplets on it and mud droplets, and it will get matted down, but the straw itself doesn't absorb the moisture. So when you go to pull it out, it's not matted together. And so what happens is we end up with airflow going through the straw itself, and it helps to keep the inside of the coop dry, or drier, I should say. One of the things with chickens is that they are susceptible to respiratory issues, especially if you don't clean out the coop. Like if it stays moist in here and the chickens are coming in and living in that can be a problem. So in addition to just really making it a pain in the butt to clean out the coop. So anyway, straw, in my opinion, has been a lot better for us compared to wood shavings. And if you'll notice, the length of all these pieces of straw, these are all fairly long. But if you look at what came out of here, it's ready to go into compost and get stirred in. The straw pieces are a whole lot shorter, and that's just because the chickens coming in here and kicking them around and doing whatever chicken things they do. But anyhow, I hope that helps.